everybody? It's another EC1 live stream. I wasn't going to live stream today, but I figured to come and talk to you. Trade deadline is around the corner. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Commanders coming up this week. We have a lot of things to talk about, whether it's what the Eagles are looking for. Kevin Byard, the Philadelphia Eagle, has a feel. I feel great about him being in the secondary with him and then Darius Slay and Bradbury and all these guys, man. This defense has gotten a lot better just adding him. And the fact that we're able to fleece the Titans is still mind-boggling. You would think after the A.J. Brown, they wouldn't trade with us again. But we're going to talk about other things too. Like if the Eagles were, let's say, to go back and get another Tennessee Titan player, I'm going with this one. What would you give up? What would you give up? Would you go out and spend a lot to get a guy like Patrick Surtain? Would you go out and get a guy like Brian Burns, who Carolina Panthers are saying he's not on the trade block, but I don't think he isn't on the trade block. I feel like he is on the trade block because it's on the last year of his deal. They can't afford him. They need draft picks. There's a lot of things to talk about. Also, there's rumors going around that Howard Roseman loves Kenny Moore. And what would you give up to get a guy like that, man? I'll tell you one thing. Kenny Moore is 28 years old. A guy like that you bring into the building, a guy that, is familiar with the Nick Sirianni, who was his head coach, his offensive coordinator at the time with Frank Wright. You bring a guy like that in, it's beautiful. It's beautiful thing to say. Your gym is always active, looking for guys to bring in to help your football team. Let's start by saying this, man. I think that Kenny Moore would be a good pickup, right? Yeah, he's not the Patrick Surtain. He's not the guy that we all want. I would love to get Patrick Surtain, but the cost of Patrick Surtain, I don't feel comfortable giving up 3 first-round picks. I know a lot of people do. You got to understand this Eagles team does not give up a lot of picks when it comes to players. Now, Patrick Surtain is 22 years old, 23 years old, and he's going to cost a lot. You're going to have to give up a lot to get a guy like that in the building, right? Also, he also wants to get paid. You got Landon Dixon coming up. You got Devontae Smith coming up. You can't let those guys walk out the door. You got Hassan Riddick that you have to pay maybe this year or next year. He wants to be the highest paid player behind Bosa. You know what I'm saying? So you got a lot of things you got to worry about before you go out and spend a lot of money on a cornerback. Now, I think Patrick Surtain is a very good corner, and if we can get him somehow, some way, give him way too much, like they're asking for 3 first-round picks, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You don't go out and trade for a guy like that when you know you can't afford him right now. That's bad business. Go out and just get guys like that. But there's also a price that you have to always worry about. What would it cost to get Patrick Surtain? Well, we just said 3 first-round picks. When you need an offensive lineman next year, Lane Johnson's retiring next year. You need those picks. I know it's hard to say because we're in a Super Bowl window right now. And if we could get Patrick Surtain, how cool would this secondary be? Right? We don't draft corners. I get that. But I feel like the Eagles got a plan, man. I feel like they are getting the corner, but it's not the corner we all want. We want a Patrick Surtain. We want a guy that could come in to help us. A guy like Kenny Moore is only 20 years old. He won't cost you. And I think that they're looking at Avonte Maddox replacement. Who can help Avonte Maddox? Who can help Bradley Roby if he goes down? I don't know how good Bradley Roby is when he comes back. I'm hoping he can be that guy that we all thought he was, but he's already dealing with injuries. So maybe the Eagles look at Bradley Roby and say, you know what? This guy might not be able to stay healthy either. Let's go get a Kenny Moore. Let's go get a guy that can help us now. And down or get him somehow. I don't know what the hell just happened. Hold up. There we go. We back. So there's rumors going around that the Eagles love Kenny Moore. All right. Obviously, Colts podcasts and Colts fans are making fun of it, saying Chris Bottle loves A.J. Brown. They're basically making fun of the situation because Kenny Moore is a very good player. And if you're able to get him with the secondary, this secondary would be so special. You add Kenny Moore with Byard, Slay, Bradbury, You already got Bradley Roby. Excuse me. I keep on calling Roby Coleman. Keep on thinking of this slot guy. I don't know why. Bradley Roby. You have a great secondary. I get he's not Patrick Surtain, but I just don't see the Eagles giving up a lot of picks to go out and get a corner. I just don't see that. That's not Howie Roseman. You got to know who your GM is. Does it make sense to go out and trade for a whole bunch of picks to give to Denver to get a corner where you're going to have to pay down the road? He's going to be looking as to pay the highest paid corner in the NFL. And get a guy like that, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be expensive. You're more off getting a guy like Brian Burns. You know what I'm saying? A Brian Burns. What is going on, man? Shit. Hold up, man. There we go. Give me a second, man. Sorry about the issues. Well, why is it doing that? But here we go. Let's pull this up. Thought it was very interesting. Keep in mind, these are just rumors. So let's take that with a grain of salt. But there is rumors going around. Okay, I don't know if you saw it today, but we're going to pull it up. That Howie Roseman loves Kenny Moore. And I'm going to pull it up for you right now. Come on, piece of garbage. I got to get a new laptop when I get it. I have a job interview coming soon, so hopefully I can get that on the situation right now. Come on, man. Don't be a piece of shit today, man. All right, we're just doing this way, man. Hold up. Give me a second. 1 second. There you go. Pull it up real quick. So here we go. Let's pull it up real quick. Again, these are just rumors. But I visited Dreddy Eagle. Let me send you the link, dude. Let me send you the link, man. I want you to come and talk to me about how would you feel if you have time, man. If you got time, bro. I'm saying I feel like we will open up the phone call. Why not, man? But let's bring him. Let's bring this up, bro. I think this is very interesting, right? Because it just comes out the blue, right? We heard rumors the Eagles are not done at trade. You get a guy like this, man. At 24 years old, let's bring it up. At 24 years, they said the Philadelphia Eagles are really like Coach Pro Bowl Kenny Moore. Now, I don't know how true that is. I can see the Eagles going after a guy like that. I've been talking about someone like that, 28 years old, a veteran you bring into the building that can help you secondary. The Eagles are so worried about the secondary, how banged up they've been getting, right? Bradley Roby goes down, like I said. You can't let him go down like that. And he's old. He's 31 years old. He's a Band-Aid corner. And obviously Avonte Maddox going down is not easy. You know what I'm saying? We're probably moving on from him. So a guy like Kenny Moore that can come in and help you defense. Why not? Why not? I think a Kenny Moore or a Brian Burns would help you. I know a lot of people don't want to hear about Brian Burns, but listen, I think the two positions the Eagles go after is defensive end and secondary. I think if the Eagles are going after somewhere, it's going to be either a not too high price corner or a secondary. The Philadelphia Eagles have to worry about the secondary and when it comes to the health of these 31-year-olds. Because we have 17 games to play. So if you can keep Bradley Roby fresh for the playoffs and you're able to add a guy like Kenny Moore, a guy that can come in there. And not only that, I think he played different positions too. I'm not sure if he can play safety or not. I don't know if he's a, like C.J. Gordon-Johnson. But you had a guy like that, man. It'll be awesome pickup, man. And obviously you got the Colts making fun of the reporter. You know, obviously I showed you right here. What's going on? No, stop. So here we go. They obviously making fun of the report. I guess the Colts fans don't like this, but Indianapolis Colts currently really like Pro, but they basically making fun of the Kenny Moore, how Howie Roseman loves Kenny Moore. But you got to understand, the Colts are not tanking. I mean, they're not contending. They're not going anywhere this year. Why keep a guy that you're going to have to pay next year? He's going to want to get paid. Where if we bring him in there, we got the money to do it. I think a Kenny Moore would be a sneaky move for Howie Roseman's secondary. I feel like it wouldn't cost you that much. There is rumors going around that Kenny Moore is a guy that the Eagles like, and I can see it. He's 28 years old, and he's playing one of his best balls right now. He's playing one of his best. He having his best year as a corner right now. What's up, Playbook Podcast? Hey, I thought you were supposed to be out today, man. Thought you was be out, man. I appreciate you for coming in, dude. As always, definitely go subscribe to him. He has a lot of great content creators on his channel, man. He does a really good job. Weezy, Jetty Eagle, the link is in there if you want to come in there and talk, man. But yeah, man. There's a lot of things that we can go down the list where I can see the Eagles going for. A guy like Brian Burns. You know what I'm saying? Brian Burns is a guy that I always keep coming back in my mind. My mind keeps on coming back up to him because the Eagles love pass rush. They love pass rush. And I don't know if they think that Nolan Smith is ready. I don't know if they think that Derek Barnett is the guy. If they don't feel like that, then I can see a Brian Burns trade. Now, Brian Burns is going to cost you a lot. Same thing as maybe not same thing as Patrick Surtain, but it's going to cost you at least a first-round pick. And I also look at that down the road, man. You're losing Brandon Graham. Okay? You're losing him next year. Instead of going out next year and getting another defensive end, or let's say Nolan Smith don't work out for this year and you sit him out for a while and let him learn from a guy like Brian Burns. Now, Brian Burns is going to want to get paid, and that's the thing that I don't understand when it comes to the Eagles, why I also don't think that we make the move, because I think we would make the move and we wouldn't. Because if we make the move for Brian Burns, you would have to pay him. Okay? Now, Eagles, Howie Roseman, one thing he's good at is cap space. But like I said, if you can get a Kenny Moore, a 28-year-old that could come in there and help your team right now, I don't know how true this report is. This guy posts a lot of stuff. It's just rumors right now. But, you know, when there's smoke, there's fire. When there's smoke, there's fire. And I can see where we could get a Kenny Moore. He wouldn't cost you that much. He's only 28 years old. And he could come in and help your secondary. I think this would be a very good option. The link is in there if you want to come in and talk, man. Tell me how you feel about this Eagles team. What would you do in this trade deadline? If you could have the phone for, let's say, 1 minute, who would you grab? I'm interested to hear your thoughts, man. Right? You get fired, and the Eagles say, you know what? We're not done yet. We're not done yet. We feel like we need to add more to this team. I don't know what possibly you can add to this team, except maybe another corner in his secondary, a running back, maybe Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they feel like Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott and Swift are your guys. Now, do I feel like they're my guys? No, I think Swift is my guy, but I don't know if Kenny Gainwell. I think Kenny Gainwell is not a good number 2. I said it all along, but a lot of people feel different. But again, I don't know where the Eagles would go. I could see Kenny Moore being something Howie Roseman would go for. I could see that. He wouldn't cost you that much. The Eagles are not going to spend a lot on Surtain. They're not going to do that. If they're going to get Patrick Surtain, it's going to be because they're desperate for a corner and they lost their damn marbles. I don't care what corner. See, a lot of people think that we should go out and trade for Surtain. But here's the thing. That's not how the Eagles roll. Those are for teams who want to self-destruct. If you want to give up a lot for a Surtain, you got to be perfect where you are. And right now, we're perfect the way we are with a Super Bowl. We don't need Patrick Surtain. Now, would he help us? Obviously. You would have Bradbury probably go back in the slot. But then what do you do with Bradley Roby when he comes back? What do you do with Slay, who you paid a lot of money to? You gonna let him go next year? I think if you bring Patrick Surtain, Slay goes next year. He either gets traded or he retires, or he just gets, or they find a way to get rid of him somehow, some way. Because I don't see them getting rid of Bradbury. But Kenny Moore wouldn't cost you a lot. So if they're interested in the corner, a Kenny Moore would be a good possibility. Like I said, if you want to go defense, Danielle Hunter is out there. Brian Burns is out there, which I know the Panthers said they want to trade him. I don't believe that BS one bit. They were offering Jeremy Chin, and they were offering Deontay Jackson. So it doesn't surprise me if they say, well, we're not going to trade Brian Burns. Really? You got no picks right now. You need picks right now. The Panthers are right now in the rebuild. Why would it make sense when they're not going to pay him to keep him? It doesn't make sense, man. I feel like at the right price, Brian Burns could be available. And I can see the Eagles pulling a Brian Burns move. They wanted him last year. Before the Robert Quinn, we heard a lot of rumors. Brian Burns was a possibility the Eagles like last year. We didn't get him. So now at the end of this year of his deal, why not go out and get him? Why not go out and get him? You have a more possibility of doing that than getting a Patrick Surtain. The Eagles have a more possibility of getting Brian Burns than getting a cornerback like Patrick Surtain, who's going to cost you way more. Now, Brian Burns is going to cost you a pretty penny, but he's not going to cost you way more than a Patrick. Patrick Surtain is going to cost you a lot. You give up players, you give them assets. And I don't see the Denver Broncos getting rid of Patrick Surtain. I don't understand why they would do that, other than they want picks. But I don't see Patrick Surtain going anywhere. I think they're listening to talks. Obviously, they're going to listen to trades, and obviously they're going to say, yeah, that's not our best interest right now. We're not looking to get rid of him. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, those draft picks sound good. But right now, Patrick Surtain is our future going forward. If we have anything, we'll let you know. That's the conversation right now for Denver. They're listening to offers, but unless they get blown away, where they can't do nothing but deny it and take the deal, they're not getting rid of Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain is too young for a guy just to give up on. They look at it as a guy that can be their corner piece for a long time, that can help them when they're finally rebuilding. And he will still be young enough to do that. You don't get rid of a cornerback that's that damn good. No, man. You don't. Now, the Broncos are, could I see them get rid of him? Obviously, for the right price. Maybe like a Jalen Ramsey type deal. You know how much Jacksonville Jaguars got back for Jalen Ramsey? I can see something like that. But I don't see Patrick Surtain going anywhere, man. But it is what it is, dude. I feel like the Eagles are looking at someone that we don't expect. We got safety. You can cross that off. We're not getting Justice Simmons. We're not getting Budda Baker. You already got Byer. You got Reed Blankenship. I'm telling you, the more and more I see it, the more and more I can see Kenny Moore being a Philadelphia Eagle. I don't know why, but it's more of a possibility of him becoming an Eagle than a guy like Brian Burns. Now, I would love Brian Burns. But Kenny Moore is a guy that he has links to Philadelphia. Why? I don't know why. Because Nick Sirianni was his offensive coordinator for the Colts. He was with Kenny Moore, so he knows a lot about Kenny Moore. And the Eagles and the Colts have a good relationship. They traded Carson Wentz to the Colts. Now, they robbed him. So I don't know if the Colts want to do business with Howard Roseman. But if they want to do business, let's do business. I take the Kenny Moore for 1 year. Then if he does great, I can see where we can stand him. It's really up to Howard Roseman what he wants to do. But if you can add a guy like a Derrick Henry, that's another thing. Derrick Henry wouldn't cost you a lot. I think people understand that the Tennessee Titans right now, if they lose this Sunday, because they just came off the bye week, if they lose this Sunday or whenever they play, they're shipping Derrick Henry out of here. There's no way in hell they're keeping Derrick Henry on a team that they're tanking for. There's no way. I can see Derrick Henry on another team's jersey by next week. Now, why would you add Derrick Henry on his Eagles team? Well, let's talk about it. Number one, you would have a big back that can, when you're in a goal line situations, you don't have to put your quarterback in harm's way because let's for Jalen Hurts right now is not 100% healthy. And the last thing you want to do is get him hurt. So a guy like a Derrick Henry, he would have familiar faces right now in the building. A.J. Brown, Kevin Byard was his former teammate. Zach Cunningham was his former teammate. So he would have some familiarities. It wouldn't cost you a lot. I don't think Derrick Henry would cost you a lot like a Brian Burns or a Surtain. He wouldn't cost you that much. And now if you want to go cornerback, here's another guy that I would consider getting. Now, I don't know if the Eagles would do it, but I heard a lot of rumors that a guy like A.J. Terrell. Now, do I think that would happen? No. I don't think the Falcons would get rid of him. But that's another guy that I heard a lot of rumors that, A.J. Terrell wouldn't cost you a lot. Now, I don't know how the hell the Falcons would get rid of A.J. Terrell. I'm just throwing that out there. I have to make sure every player is off Howard Roseman because you don't know what Howard Roseman's going to do. We need to see this Jaquan Johnson situation. And two, we heard the news he was getting traded to Philadelphia. A.J. Terrell is a young corner. He's on a rebuilding football team. Let's be real. The Falcons ain't going nowhere. A guy like that you bring in the building, why not? Maybe if you want to go young corner, you have a better possibility of getting A.J. Terrell than a Patriots team. But I think a Kenny Moore would be more possible. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it will happen. I just heard rumors that A.J. Terrell, everybody talk about A.J. Terrell. I'm like, what the heck? I don't know how much A.J. Terrell would be, but let's see. So A.J. Terrell signed a full year, 2023. Terrell earned a salary of 20. So I mean, you can technically afford him, but I don't know if the Falcons would give it to him. I'm just throwing that out there, man. I'm just throwing it out there, bro. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we pretty much covered the bases what the Eagles would do, man. I feel like the Eagles ain't done yet, dude. I feel like there's one more move that Howard Roseman goes after, and I can see a pass rush. I can see a corner. I can see a running back, right? A guy like A.J. Dillon wouldn't cost you a lot. Let's say if you don't want to go after Derrick Henry, right? You want someone young. Well, I mean, Derrick Henry is almost 30 years old, right? Maybe you go after A.J. Dillon, a guy that I can see the Packers moving on from, right? Maybe they don't use him enough. I don't know. But there's a lot of things the Eagles can do, man. I just feel like the Eagles need to go after someone that won't cost you a lot, that you're not really give up a lot of picks to, and it's going to make sense for this football team. Because I don't see Patrick Tam being the Eagle. I just don't. I don't. But you've seen crazy things happen. So maybe Howard Roseman does, become this aggressive GM and goes after a guy like Patrick Tam. I don't see it. I don't see it, man. I feel like if Howard Roseman wants to go after a guy, it'd be a Kenny Moore. But we'll see what happens, dude. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be interesting what the Eagles do, man. See any updates? No. Maybe you go after a guy like a Patrick Queen, a linebacker. Maybe Devin White. We heard a lot of rumors about Devin White. Do the Eagles go after a linebacker? Probably not. So, I don't know what the Eagles are going to do We're going to move past forward. We're going to see what the Eagles do, but we all know that Howie Roseman is cooking right now. Let's talk about this game coming up this Sunday and what I want to see from this Eagles team because, this Eagles team has to find a way to win this game. You can't sleep on the Commanders. We know how bad they are. We know how bad they lost to the Giants. But you want to know the running back? Who do you think we're going to get? I think it's going to be, if I have to pick who's going to be, I can say Kenny Moore. Why? I just think that's just a Howie Roseman trade right there. He wouldn't cost you that much, and I feel like he'd be cheap to come to Philadelphia. I think Kenny Moore would be a possibility right there. Danielle Hunter, a guy like that. Now, if they want to go really, really a big move, then I could see a Brian Burns, Patrick Surtain. But I just don't think it's going to be a huge move like Loppe. I think it's going to be a little move that's like, it's a great move, but it's not like, oh my God, we give up a whole farm for this guy. He's going to be so good. No, I don't think it's going to be that. I don't. I want another running back. Yeah, I mean, if you could get a Derrick Henry, that'd be awesome. I just don't know how the Eagles feel about that, man. But let's talk about this game. Got Eagles Commanders. Obviously, my guy Protect Sports shot the MPSN was on my channel yesterday. We were talking. Their offensive line is terrible. Let's be real. The Commanders' offensive line right now is horrendous. It's not good. But you can't go in this game and sleep on it. Like I said with the Jets game, you got to be prepared. This can definitely be a trap game. Why do I say this? Well, number one, yes, we do own them in their home. We've beaten them so many times. But this is a new team. This is a new quarterback. They got the same head coach. Ron Rivera is fighting for his job right now. This team is right now fighting to stay on their football team. If they lose this game, Ron Rivera will be fired. And the Commander season will be over. They are banking on beating the Eagles to stay alive. So you can't go in this game. You can't sleep on the Commanders. Yes, we know how bad they were against the Giants. But like I said, every given Sunday, the Dolphins thought the exact same thing, and we whacked them to next week. Commanders have a lot to play for. Their season's on thin ice. They have to win this game this Sunday to keep their chances alive. Alive. If they don't win this game Sunday, their season's over. They're done. Finito. Finished. They're done. They're not making the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, it'll be the last card or the last wild card. But they're not going to be near the Eagles then, and they're not going to have a chance to fight for the division. So they're banking on beating the Eagles, man. So we got to go in there in this game. We got to be humble. We got to catch the ball. We got to play great defense. I love what I saw from Sean Asai last week with being a man. Continue what you've been doing. Don't switch up the scheme. I don't want to see what I saw versus the Jets leaving guys off the ball. Play aggressive. And I'm also excited to see what I can see out of Kevin Byard. I want to see how he does. I want to see if he still has it. I think he does. I think he's a good pickup, and I think he's going to be really good for us, man. He looks good today in practice today. He looks like he's going to be playing. I want to see what we do. How are we going to adjust when you got quarterbacks coming up, right? Because you got Sam Howell, then you got Dak Prescott, then you got Patrick Mahomes, right? Do you have Patrick Mahomes? I think you have Patrick Mahomes. And then you got Josh Allen. You got 4 quarterbacks coming up that, you can't sleep on. We know Sam Howell's a rookie, but a guy like that you can't sleep on, man. But yeah. You said good linebacker. Yeah, I know. That's just throw out a possibility. But like I said, man, if you can win this game, and you're 7-1, and you're able to go and focus on the Commanders. We'll get to the Cowboys later, but I could see an 8-1 streak before the bye week. That's a good record right there. We have the number 1 seed already so far locked up after the 49ers lost to the Vikings. Now we got the number 1 seed. We got to continue to fight and claw our way to the top, man. How do you do this? One game at a time, man. One game at a time. And last week we showed that we can put 30 points on that team. I want to see that again. We got to get better at the red zone, obviously. Every time we go near we hit the first possession, we always kick a field goal. We can't always kick field goals. But I think Brian Johnson's getting better as a play caller. I like what he's done overall. People want to complain about that. Listen, I thought he did a nice job last week. I'm not going to poo-poo on him and crap on him and say he stinks when he doesn't. He was good last week, man. There were some calls, I didn't like. But overall, I thought he did a very good job. I thought Sean Asai adjusted when he needed to. We talked about adjustment. And we talked about making plays. Big play Slay showed up, had a pick. Love that. Love to see that from my corner. You're coming back off injury. You come back and you do that. I like that. So we got to continue this. This is a team that can definitely beat us. They show the capability of almost beating us at our home. So if you don't think they're not going to be ready and try to take us out, you're crazy. This is a football team that, they don't know who they are. But a win like that against the Eagles, that can change the momentum. That can change momentum for their team, man. So this is important to take care of business. This is an important game this Sunday. So I'm eager to see what we do, man. I feel like that has to be the game plan going into this game. Don't sleep on them. Run the ball. And get A.J. Brown, Arthur Warren Brown, active, dude. Get him active. Get him going. Go deep to him. He's proven that he can catch any single ball you throw at him. And I think it's starting to fit in, man. Last year was like he settled in. This year, he knows he's the guy. He knows he's the guy. He knows he's the guy. He's going to do everything he can do. So he's going to do everything he can do to win us the game. This team goes through A.J. Brown. You got to feed him the ball. Got to continue to give him the catches he needs. Feed the beast. Feed him. Feed the motherfucking beast, dude. He's a goddamn monster. And he's only continue to get better. And not only that, he has a chance to break their streak. So I think it's interesting that A.J. Brown has a chance to beat the streak. And I expect him to have a good day. I think we're going to win this game. But I'm not going to go in there and sleep on. I don't think we're going to blow them out. But I don't think it's going to be close like a lot of people think. Like last time we played. I think it's going to be a 31-21. So we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say. I feel like we can't sleep on Washington, and if we do that, probably we're gonna lose the game. We're gonna lose the game, and it's not gonna be pretty, man. But a guy like Jalen Hurts, he knows what he needs to do. When you hear his press conference, he means business. So it'll be interesting what we see, man. It'll be interesting what we see. I'm excited to see this Eagles team. And I can't wait to see this Sunday. It's going to be a lot of Eagle fans there. And like I said, you can't take this team lightly. You got to go in this game. You got to beat them. You got to punch them in their mouth. You got to send them home with L. You cannot let that team stay in the game. You got to finish them. Finish the Commanders tonight. I want to sweep that team. Any momentum in this team. One win puts the momentum back in their back pocket. It's like a battery. Recharge. You got to beat this team. You can't go in there and take them lightly. Run the ball. Get A.J. Brown going. And break that streak that he's been almost near. I think he's almost 500 yards away from breaking Calvin Johnson's. Or I don't know where he's been. I think he's a record he could break this Sunday. But again, man, it's not about the record. It's about winning the game. I don't care how pretty he is. I just want the W. I want the bye week. And if you could start at 7-1 and 8-1 by the bye week, but one game at a time, you got to start with the Commanders. But if you can get to 7-1, then we're on our way. But like I said, man, you gotta hit Sam Howell. I think this is the game we learn a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, with Kevin Byard on his addition on his secondary, I can't wait to see. Like I said, I'm excited to see what Kevin Byard does for this football team. I feel like he's going to bring a lot to this team. I feel like he's going to bring this energy to this team. We know how Kevin Byard, the fact that we're able to get him for peanuts. I mean, the way we're able to get him is still mind-boggling. I know he's a little bit old. He's 30 years old, but he still has a lot in his tank. And you could see it on the field. He still has a lot to play for, man. He's a chance at a Lombardi. It's all about the championship in Philadelphia. It's all about getting another one of these, man. I want another one of these. So to get back to a Super Bowl is my goal. But first thing first, we got to take care of the Commanders. You got to get that number 1 seed locked up. You know what I'm saying? So, and now that, please, 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 Jalen Hurts, I'm begging you, slide and stay in the pocket as much as you can, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to get hurt because if Jalen Hurts goes down, I have no trust. I don't care what Nick Sirianni says. I have no trust in Marcus Mariota. I think he stinks. And the fact that he's still on his football team, it's beyond me. I'm more comfortable with McFoles than having Mariota on my football team. Mariota cannot throw for crap, dude. Did you see how bad he was? I don't know what Nick Sirianni's doing. I think he's just saying that, but Nick Sirianni talk about he has confidence in Marcus Mariota. Man, come on, bro. I have confidence in myself to get it done over Marcus Mariota. So it is what it is, dude. I feel like Jalen Hurts going to do everything he can to protect himself. But like I said, man, I'm excited to see what this Eagles team does. But you got to be Washington, man. And I feel like we're going to take care of business. I'm not worried about them. I'm not going to sleep on them, but I'm not worried about them either. I know my football team. I know my quarterback. I know his mindset. I know he's a winner. I know he's going to do everything he can to get this team going. And one thing about Jalen Hurts, he never sleeps on a football team. We're going to take care of business this Sunday. We're going to sweep the Commanders, man. I said this year we're going to sweep the whole division this year. No one in this division is touching us this year. Nobody. Not the Dallas Cowboys. Their time is coming soon. We're going to rock them to sleep too. We're going to put them in the graveyard in Philadelphia. I think they're going to lose to the Rams this Sunday. I'm calling it. But it is what it is, man. We got 2 people in the chat. Hit that like button, subscribe, man. The link is in if you want to call in. Tell me how you feel. Tell me about the trade deadline. Talk about anything you want about the Eagles team. How do you feel? I feel like we did great against the Miami Dolphins. And I feel like it's only going to carry in to this week against the Commanders. You got to pressure Sam Howell. And I feel like that offensive line, how bad it is, it don't mean nothing because we saw how bad that offensive line was before the first game. And we let them stay in the game. We can't do that. They're playing for everything on the line. They're playing for the season. They're playing for the dignity. They're playing for the head coach. They're playing for the confidence. They're playing to win. One game is all it takes. All it takes to change the whole momentum for this football team. And they looking to knock the Eagles out from getting the number 1 seed. So we got to go in there. We got to take care of business. Run the ball and get A.J. Brown going. A.J. Brown is that offense. He showed you he's your number 1 receiver. You keep feeding him. Feed the beast. Feed number 11. Feed him. He's providing at a high level. He's doing what no other receivers are doing right now at that level, especially on his Eagles team. We have not had that for a long time since T.O. And if you're able to keep feeding him and he's keep on eating, then you feed him. You feed him. You get him going. That's why you paid him. You paid him the big bucks so he can eat, so he can get the ball. Now, obviously, you got to throw it to Devontae Smith sometimes because he needs to eat also. Dallas got to eat, so it's not just saying just A.J. Brown. But A.J. Brown has been your best receiver on your football team. And I love what A.J. Brown is doing, dude. I love what he's doing. I love what he's provided on his football team. And like I said, man, if you can get A.J. Brown going, it's going to be hard for teams to stop us. It's going to be hard for teams to stop us now with all these weapons. Then you add a secondary safety piece to your team. Now I think you got this team fully completed, right? Now, the icing on the top cake would be going to get a Kenny Moore. If you could get a Kenny Moore at the second, you just got way better than you were before. But I don't think you need Kenny Moore. I don't know what the Eagles are going to do. But we're going to see what they do because this game is going to mean a lot what we're going to do in the next trade deadline, what we're going to make a move at. If we don't run the football as good as we want to, now I can see a Derrick Henry trade. If we're still struggling in that corner and we're getting beat over the top, then I can see Kenny Moore trade. This game is going to tell us where our trade deadline goes. You know what I'm saying? Listen, we're going to see what the Eagles do in the trade deadline. This game is definitely going to be what we do. What we have to shore up. But there's a lot of ways the Eagles can go. But I'm excited to see what this Eagles Commanders go. Man, I feel like the Eagles and Commanders game, I think it's going to be close at first, but I think we pull away and we beat this team. We blow this team by the second half. There's no way you leave this team hanging the way they did last game. You got to beat them. You got to punch them in the mouth. You got to send them home. You got to send them home with an L. You're not winning in your building. This is our second home. So to get the W, you're 7-1. Then if you beat Dallas, you're 8-1. You go on the bye week and you feel pretty sweet. Given it for Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. Being 8-1 before the bye week, but one game at a time. The Commanders are first game. You got to take care of it. You got to take care of business with that team. I mean, I would love to blow that team out and just rip them. If we could score a 40 burger on that team, that would make my day. I just don't see it happen. I feel like you can't take this Commanders team lightly. I know they got a rookie quarterback, but like I said, they're playing for everything on the line this week, man. You can't let them come in there and play around with you. You can't play around with your food. We got to eat this Sunday, man. I need to see pressure up the middle. Sean Desai did a great job against the Miami Dolphins. Pressure the Rook. Pressure the Rook. Get these corners lined up on these receivers and make them beat you. What I saw with the Miami Dolphins was Sean Desai. We talked about will he do good against legit quarterbacks. Last week he showed you he can adjust to good quarterbacks, and that's a good sign for a defense coordinator when he's able to adjust. I love that. That's something Gannon didn't do last year. And that's what I love about Sean Desai. He's able to mix up coverages. He's able to take away what you're good at. That's a good defense coordinator. That's what I want to see more of. And this week, the key is to take away Terry McLaurin. If you take away Terry McLaurin, that team struggles. Take away Scary Terry. That's the key of the game. Pressure Sam out, make him throw the ball, make him uncomfortable, run the ball, take some clock off the time, and throw to A.J. Brown. And win the game, score touchdowns, blow this team out the window, man. Beat this team, punch them in the mouth, kick the crap out of them. Let them know we're not playing. We coming for business. We coming to take your lunch. We coming to eat your food in your kitchen. We coming in to beat y'all and send y'all home. Matter of fact, you stay home with L. We coming to take over your stadium. All Eagle fans, be loud there, man. Be loud. Let them know you there. It's our home, man. I don't know what these Commander fans think, but let me tell you something. We own that home too. We own that home. So we got to be at our best, man. We got to be at our best. We can't take them lightly. But I feel like this team's not going to do that. I know my quarterback. I know Jalen Hurts. I know how he is. He's a winner. He motivates his team. He knows what this team is. And he gets the team going. You've seen Jalen Hurts when he was mic'd up. Nick Sirianni said, I had trust in you all the time. He said, you should. Bam, that was cold. That's what I want to see from my quarterback. You know, Nick Sirianni, I didn't know. He didn't want to go for it. Brian Johnson didn't want to go for it. Jalen Hurts forced him to go because they had trust in him. They trusted him. And that shows me they love Jalen Hurts and they trust him so much to get that first down. That mic'd up told me everything about this team. That they love how Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts, they put trust in him. The coaches believe in him. The players respect him. They love him leading that team, which we all knew. But it just gave you another. I love when I see Jalen Hurts mic'd up. I love when I see Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert sitting there on the mic'd up saying, you know what's coming. You can't stop the quarterback sneak. They can't stop it because there's no possibility of stopping it. It's effective play. Everybody wants to ban it. They still crying. The refs. But didn't you tell us last week when we lost to the Jets? Get over it. Don't blame the refs. You told us don't blame the refs, but here y'all crying about the refs. Stop it, man. You're over with. You're done with. It's over. The Dolphins got beat. They got sent home. Move on. Get over it and worry about the Patriots this Sunday. We beat y'all. There's nothing you can do. You can fire the ref. You can report report calls that weren't coming to your way. Mike B. Daniels out here running like a little bitch after halftime. Like someone's going to stone him to death. They weren't ready. And that's why they lost. It wasn't because the refs. Because they didn't have the mentality in Philadelphia. They got punched in the mouth. They got outperformed. They got out physical. They got bullied on the line, on the field. They thought they were going to use their speed against us, and it backfired because we used our speed against them. That's why they lost. Not the refs. When you were offsides, when you were false starting nonstop, you lost the game already. You weren't disciplined. So stop the refs shit, man. I'm really tired of hearing people talk about the refs. The refs didn't lose you the game, Dolphin fans. Your team did. When your coach was running like a little girl out on the sidelines, instead of being a man and showing that he's a man, when he decided to kick the field goal, go for it, instead of kicking the field goal, getting 3 points, he lost the game. Your coach is not better than our coach. He got all the hype, all this Mike B. Daniels mic'd up. Y'all weren't that team that you thought you were. You were a good team. I think you're going to win your division. You're going to get the number 1 seed. But you're not better than our team. And anybody who has a brain knows that they don't want to see us in the Super Bowl because it will be a beatdown, another one. We will blow that team out the water, man. You have a better chance of Kansas City Chiefs versus us and beating us. Even though I don't think they really didn't beat us. But, we can't talk about the refs. I forgot. So y'all can't either. If we can't talk about the refs with the Super Bowl, then y'all can't either. Just stop crying, right? Get over it. Stop crying. If it was the Eagles, you wouldn't be saying that. You'd be saying, oh, the Eagles, cry, Eagles, cry. Don't blame the refs now. Then don't blame the refs now when it's your turn. Good teams find a way to win without the refs, with the ref, even with the refs trying to dictate. We had the refs versus us. You didn't hear us complain. When we had the Commanders literally cheating on us nonstop in that game, you didn't hear us complain with the refs. We won our game. That's what good football teams do. So if you need the refs to help, if you needed the refs on your side to help you, then you ain't a good football team. You're a good football team, but you're not a great football team. Because great football teams find ways to win. That's my little rant on that Dolphin fans. I'm tired of hearing them cry on Instagram like a bunch of 3-year-olds. You had no problem making a diss song on the Eagles fans. And that's probably why you got your ass beat. I don't feel bad for y'all. They don't feel bad for us. Why should I feel bad for them? Why should I have sympathy for y'all? You were talked about as the speed killers, right? That you were going to go to any other team and blow them out the door, and it didn't happen. That's why y'all mad, because you didn't score 40 points like you thought you were. That's why y'all mad. That's why y'all mad. It is what it is, man. We're going to take your business against Washington. I got to get going, man. My phone, someone calling me, keep calling me. I got to answer them. Probably a job interview. But it is what it is, man. Peace out. Go Birds. Fly. We'll do this another time. We'll do another call in. You know what I'm saying? Fortunately, no one would call in today. It's all right. Not mad. Some people have work. Some people don't. But it is what it is. I appreciate you for watching. You have a great one. Go Birds. I'll see you on the next one.